Elsie Webbs, and this is Better Every Day. Holy crap, I have never looked so much like a Midwestern wine mom in my entire life. I realized that while I was getting the camera set up, so I decided what the hell, I'm going to lean into it. So I think the requirement is rosé with an ice cube, so let's have some wine today and let's talk about let me tell ya. Okay, so today's episode is about a bigger high than you get from retail therapy. Man, if you think that the dopamine rush from hitting checkout on that shopping cart, if you think that's a hit, I got you one better. As you know, I have been working on redecorating the office. It's just about done. It's starting to really look like a whole vibe in here, and I am freaking thrilled. And one of the things that I'm doing, the thing that ended up inspiring the video for today, is I have this big cork board over there in the corner of the office. So I decided a while ago I was going to turn that into a vision board. But I've been having trouble. It's hard to get old magazines anymore. I mean, people are, getting fewer magazines. I do have a couple of ideas now that have been, suggested by friends. I don't know why I didn't think of going to the idea store, but I'm going to try that out. I tried, going to the library. That didn't get me a whole lot. So I've got some options. But what gave me the idea for this video today, literally filming it on the day that it's supposed to come out because I live dangerously and I got kind of behind on things because I was working on shit around the house. So anyway, I asked for help, and bless my brother-in-law's girlfriend. I love her so much. Nobody come for this girl. She gave an answer that was a legitimate answer, a helpful answer, and I have a lot of gratitude in my heart for, the fact that she saw this question that I posted online and wanted to help and had, an idea that it's not an unuseful idea at all. It just doesn't add to the thrill of the hunt that I'm looking for. What she said was that there are stock photo books on like Amazon. You can buy one, you can spend like $14 on it. Obviously getting secondhand magazines, for a few pennies at a yard sale or at a library book sale or whatnot, it's cheaper. But more to the point, this stuff is fun for me. It's a whole different thrill of the hunt to, to know that you're not just, clicking on a shopping cart. Something has outlived its usefulness either for you or for somebody else, and then you got a hold of this thing and you give it a whole new life. And that is the thrill for me. It's very similar to, all right, so full disclaimer, I don't know a whole lot about working on cars, but it feels kind of similar to the first time I needed to change a tire. The first time I successfully did that, y'all, I felt like I just turned into Superman. It was such a rush. And it feels kind of similar when you take a bunch of junk that you didn't think was going to be useful anymore and you turn it into something cool. So I've been, obviously nobody is 100% made out of money. I did buy some things. I purchased this light. I got some of the supplies that I used. I didn't have any gold paint, so I bought some gold paint pens. I bought some gold acrylic paint. I used that on the legs of my storage bench that I have now that I got for like $40. I got some little disco ball mirror squares, and those are harder to work with than you would think. I used them to somewhat badly cover a wine bottle that we already had. Bottom line is that the first step, of course, is, I looked around online. I looked for inspiration. And if I had bought all of the new stuff that I saw when I was peeking around to see inspo, to see, all right, what's the vibe I want to, go for here, I would have spent more than $200 over what I ended up spending. So that in itself is a thrill. And, then there's also the fact that, behold, I have made a thing. So there's two things that I am specifically proud of. One of them is this, and I did buy the silk flowers. I didn't have any flowers. This jar, though, it started its life on the shelf at Walmart, which I almost never go to, but it was on Halloween clearance, and I'm a Halloween girly. So it was, it was just a drinking jar, just plain black. It had a lid. Why couldn't I think of the word lid? It had a straw, the whole thing. The lid and the straw disappeared. Don't know what happened to them. But girl, she was rusty and crusty because that lid rusted and it was low quality. It was not even fit for the donation box, okay? So I took that gold paint pen and behold, I have made art. I had like this kintsugi inspired idea and I ran with it and it's great. So that I'm very proud of. The other thing that I am very super proud of is I made a desk skirt. I guess that's what you call them, desk skirt, whatever. Anyway, I wasn't gonna buy an expensive one. I thought about, just like getting a tapestry that goes with the vibe I'm going for. I thought about using one of the tapestries that I already have that I hung on my wall when I was, in my 20s, because that was what we did, and people still do, and it's cool. I have some still, of course. I used one to sit on during the eclipse and on the ground. And I figured it out in perfectly opportune time because I can't remember what my husband bought, but something came in a really big box, okay? Like the size of big box that we used to play in when we were kids, right? So I took that box and I cut it into the size of pieces that I needed and taped them together using just some regular run-of-the-mill packaging tape. And for a couple of weeks, it just sat around my desk, just straight up boring cardboard. I knew I didn't want to keep it like that. I just needed that long to figure out what contact paper I wanted to buy. So I went with black marble look contact paper. Spent some time yesterday cutting and making sure the pattern matched and squishing out all of the air bubbles and all the stuff that you have to do with contact paper. Although this contact paper is actually really freaking awesome, and it was super easy to work with. So now I have classed up this joint about 1,000%. Another thing that was not repurposing, but it was the joy and the value of shopping around and not just going with the first site that you find, and that was the new curtains. The curtains that I had, they were kind of like a beige-ish. I mean, they go with the walls. That's why I had them in there before that, because they had a yellowish, brownish, beige-ish kind of a tone to them. So they kind of blended in, but they didn't blend in enough because they were a little darker than the walls. And I want the desk area to be the focal point of the room. So I wanted to move those curtains over into the guest room. So I did that. And the curtains that I was looking at online, I was looking on Amazon, I was looking on a few different sites, and they were like $40. So I went to the Goodwill because that's, our first stop. My husband is just as bad as me on this, right? He, if we've got a home improvement thing, it's not just about the money. It's about the thrill of the hunt. So that's why we will go to like the Habitat for Humanity store first before we will go to the Menards or the Lowe's or whatever. So it's the same kind of thing. I went to the Goodwill first and I found some nice like gray and white kind of damask curtains. And they were cute, but they were too short. Other than that, they were exactly what I was looking at online. So then we went to the Big Lots instead, and I got some nice looking. They are polyester faux silk, and they're like a fake Dupioni, which I love Dupioni silk. It's so beautiful. And I know this isn't real Dupioni silk, but I'm also not going to wear it, so I don't care. It just has to be on the window. $12. $12 on these beautiful faux silk Dupioni curtains. So yeah, take your time and don't think that just yeah, because you can throw money at it, and if that's what you want to do, great. But the feeling of accomplishment when you make it yourself, when you spend like $5 on some paint, and you come away with a bloody masterpiece that would sell on Etsy for like $50. Kintsugi bowls, a bowl that somebody broke and glued back together and covered over the cracks with gold paint, sells on Etsy for like $50. So that's what inspired that amazing vase. Just really, before you purchase anything, put the thought in and take your time and work with what you already have. If it's not quite perfect, but it just needs a coat of paint or whatever, paint it. If you do a bad job, whatever. I did a terrible job on this bottle. And look at this. I'm just going to show you. I have some pictures too. I know I've been showing some pictures, but this, I mean, I did a crappy job, especially on the back part that I'm not showing you, but the vines cover it. So who gives a damn? It's great. So, yeah, basically the point of this week's Better Everyday episode is just the ingenuity and the fun. We need to bring it back. We've been so branded and we've been so, commodified and conditioned that when something tears or something breaks, you just go buy a new one. And 80% of the time, probably, you don't even need to. And I've touched on it before, and I'm going to again. This culture where we just go out and we buy the new thing, it's rare in most of the world. It is rare in most of the world. And it is a very new development in human history itself. Unless you were just one of the absurdly wealthy, you would take your dress from last year and you would rework it. You would take out the seams. You would re-sew it in the style that was in for this season. Or you would, if it was wearing out, you would cut it up and you would turn it into a quilt, or a handkerchief. It's a very new thing. And I don't think it's a particularly good thing that nowadays you just dispose of the thing. Things like running out to buy the brand new iPhone that just dropped, instead of, maybe master reset your phone that you have that still works, kind of wonky, but master resetting it fixes it 99% of the time. Just get a new case for it. Sure, you're making a purchase, but it's like a $10 phone case, or like even a $30 phone case and not a new phone. But it gets the job done. And don't even get me started on the exploitation in the practice of mining the materials that are needed to make the phones in the first place. So it's better for us. It's better for the earth. It's better for the people that are working in the supply chain for the things that we need every day. And you feel so freaking good and so accomplished when it all comes together. So my challenge to you today, if you're one of the 10 people watching this channel, I want to challenge you today. I want you to take one thing that you don't think, find one thing that you don't think has a use to you anymore. Find one thing that maybe it's past its prime. Maybe you just don't want it. And think of, what you want instead. And make that thing into something new. Make some art out of it. Maybe it's a broken plate and you use it and break a couple of other plates that you got cheap at the thrift store and turn it into a mosaic. Update your countertop in mosaic ceramic. People pay a lot of money for mosaic ceramic countertop, or for mosaic tables. That's the word, for God's sake. Tables. I promise you, you are smart enough and you are dexterous enough that you can figure it out, look on, just go to freaking Google and look up some ideas. We have the entire world at our fingertips on this screen. And I'm not bullshitting you. It is so much fun. If it's been a while since you've tried it, or if you never have because it's just what you grew up in, you're gonna thank me. It is so much fun. So that is my challenge to you. Is repurpose an item around your house or make a piece of art. It doesn't have to be good art. Have you been to an open mic night? The art being good is not a requirement. It's the accomplishment of doing the thing and the fun of the experience and learning how to do something. So do it. I challenge you to find something that is not something that you thought had any value left to give and make it new. And if you would like in the comments or in an email to lcwebsxoxo@gmail.com, tell me what you did. Send me some pictures if you want. And that is all for this week. Thank you so much for being part of Better Every Day. And I will see you next week.